Hello, beloved earth goers and earth dwellers, fellow earth dwellers. I today would like to speak of anger. Interesting that anger is the one emotion that seems to have any kind of validation for most people. Most people are okay with people feeling angry, but they're not okay with people feeling vulnerable. But yet, we all experience anger. Every single one of us at some point in our lives experience anger. So, this means that the emotion of anger is something that we've been taught, developed, and also it is something that we give ourselves permission to feel. It's not a feeling. Behind anger are the real feelings. So, we're not going to look at that today. I'm looking instead of whether or not we could use anger as a healing tool. And if you look, yes, at what's behind the anger, then it become a healing tool. And I'll be coming back to that in a future episode of these elegantly raw tidbits. But for today, I am looking at the two things that we use anger for. We can use it as a weapon against ourselves. Many people do, goes internally, or we can use it externally against someone else, something else. So, the only way to know what we're going to use it for is to be very aware of what's behind the anger. What are the true feelings behind it? Not the emotions, but the feelings. The emotion itself is the anger. So I'm going to look today at what Khalil Gibran, who I really love, if some of you know Khalil Gibran, have read the book The Prophet. And he said here, exaggeration is truth that has lost its temper. So most of the times when we get angry, I find that we've exaggerated the truth. And that's why we exaggerate. So exaggeration is truth that has lost its temper. And that's why we fly into a temper. And that's what we do when we exaggerate. So very often when we get angry, we've exaggerated either the actual thing that we think is creating this anger or the reason why we're angry, or we've exaggerated our own experience of ourselves vis-a-vis that in whatever it is that sparked that anger. So maybe if we took time and look at who we are and developed a stronger, different, more elevated version of ourselves, we wouldn't be prone to anger so much. So here is Thich Nhat Hanh. He said, and I've written it below here, I would not look upon anger as something foreign to me that I have to fight. We don't want you to fight anger. Actually accept it, feel it. I have to deal with my anger with care, with love, with tenderness, with nonviolence. And that is what my teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, has to say here that I would love to share with you today. So I repeat it if you're not able to read it below. I would not look upon anger as something foreign to me that I have to fight. So don't fight your anger. I have to deal with my anger with care, with love, with tenderness, and therefore with nonviolence. So why am I bringing this up today? Because all of us have so many reasons to be angry. We don't have to look for reasons to be angry. There are plenitude of them. There's just an overabundance of them. It's how we deal with the anger that's important. We can actually use the anger to propel changes in our lives, to shift our relationship with ourselves, to shift our own perception of ourselves in that particular situation where we're angry. We can shift our own experience of the situation in which we're angry. We can shift our own interpretation of the situation in which we're angry. We can shift our own recognition of other people as being part of our own self, and we will find that we won't be as angry anymore. So I'm going to look at what Milan Kundera said here about anger. I would not look upon anger as something foreign to me. Sorry, that is sitting at hand again. Let me see if I can bring this other one up. Here's Milan. He took over anger to intimidate subordinates. And in time, anger took over him. So anger can take us over. If we overuse anger and we use it to intimidate others or to force others to do what we want or bully others, it can take over. And all of a sudden, it takes us over. And now we become trapped in a field of anger and get trapped in a coffin in which anger perpetuates and is the reason why we even get up in the mornings or do anything. And anger, forcing you to get up in the morning, can actually work. It can actually work as long as you do not allow it to take over your life and the activities of your life that day. So Sonia Parker says temporary anger is okay, but permanent anger will make you bitter and ruin your chance at happiness. I say it will ruin your chance of knowing the full spectrum of human emotions and of knowing yourself fully and truthfully. Very important to remember that. So, as long as the anger is temporary, if you use the anger to fuel much more productive ways of seeing yourself and of perceiving yourself and others in the world or perceiving a situation, or if it propels you to act in a way that will help change what created or fueled that anger, for example, protests, going out and demanding changes from governments and other institutions. It's the way we demand it that's important, but it can fuel us to create the most amazing changes and the most amazing shifts in our lives. Just make it be temporary and make sure that we ourselves do not get caught up in it so it becomes a tornado which propels our own lives. So we will be looking more at the use of anger as a weapon, which I absolutely think is the most destructive thing we can do, or as a resource for healing. We'll be looking a lot more of this. In the meantime, let me know how you feel about this topic, what your experiences have been with using anger to propel you, to use it as a healing tool, or if you use it as a weapon, what you've learned from doing so and how you've changed it. So we will be doing much more here in these elegantly raw tidbits. Please click the button down below if you really would like to have more of this, and click the subscribe button and the notification button as well. I look forward to seeing you here Monday to Fridays, same time, same platform. Until then, look at what makes you angry. Take a moment to focus on what is behind the anger and how do you perceive yourself as a result of it, and let me know below.